You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk 1150 AM. Now, back to the show with local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell.
You are listening to The Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, this Saturday, February 5th show. You can also listen to my show podcast, my Facebook premiere, or you can listen to the show on my show YouTube channel. I am your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, bringing into studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything regarding your money. And now in studio, Shahar Plinner of Formations, how self-employed professionals can achieve financial well-being with Formations, right here on 1150 AM KKNW. And welcome to the show, Shahar.
Hey, thanks, Tina. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, very excited to have a conversation around how you're helping all your clients and can be of service to my listeners. So can you share a little bit about yourself, your background? I know we talked a little bit in the panel conversation, but a little bit about yourself, your background, and what made you start Formations?
First, great discussion with Claire. Again, I took for sure a few nuggets, 20 seconds of anxiety or say yes to everything. I think it's just something really important in the world of the entrepreneur, leaning forward and just be bold. And again, you never know what the experience will bring. And this was kind of my story. I was introduced into the tax and accounting industry back in 2005. And I find it really that I'm really passionate about helping people, navigate this very complicated, segment in their life. And the segment that we went after, kind of high net individual and small, medium business, it was nice to serve, people with problems, people with millions of dollars of problems. But as you continue to be, emotionally invested in the customer solution, we found out that, the appreciation comes from those that you not necessarily saving, millions of dollars. You save, enough to change, their life. And you find out that when you're dealing with someone who's a self-employed that is working so hard and making $150,000 or $200,000, if you can save them $10,000, $15,000 a year, it's the world for them. And for me, I've been a consultant for so many years. So I wanted to kind of, be a little bit apart, from tax preparation and tax, review, and being, in front of customers, that it's hard to be, for so many years in front of customers. And identified that I have this knowledge in my brain about taxes. I wanted to productize it, so how do you productize it if not, moving from a service industry into a more product solution? So we started in a way Formations in 2019 after about 9 years of me digging into the tax code and find out that there are actually great solutions out there, for self-employed to be very efficient. Efficient means saving money, saving taxes, optimized for retirement, optimized for benefits. And I decided that this is what I want to do. I want basically to educate as many as possible self-employed individual how to deal with their money, how to deal with their business, how to treat their business like a real business, and therefore to be way more efficient, way more well-being, taking care of themselves, from their family, everybody they care about, and mainly be proud of what they're doing,
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. Yeah. It doesn't matter how much money that you make. It's how much money you're able to keep. And then how much of that money that you have freed so that you can give back to your community and make a difference in your world. And again, I can just see your passion about what you do, because really our product and service is there so we can make a difference in people's lives. So who is Formations designed to serve, and what made you focus on this segment of the workplace?
So I mentioned kind of at the beginning, our main segment at the moment is real estate agents. So I had an experience working with real estate agents, and they're adopting, financial concepts. But in general, Formations is a solution for anyone who is a 1099. Everyone who is a solopreneur, everyone see himself as a full-time self-employed. A financial advisor, mortgage brokers, real estate agents, healthcare, consultants, marketing, technology consultant. We see that the pandemic, even before the pandemic, self-employed was a huge segment and growing. We're talking about 50 million people that has some side work, some gig, some hassle, some supplemental income. But we see that out of that segment, there's about 15 million people that they see their life, their dream to pursue as 1099, like people that are not employable, like me, that nobody will take into corporate America, and decided to pursue their dreams and being as independent. And again, it's going back to what Claire kind of was mentioning. You don't need to have a college degree to be a consultant today or to be an expert. I see people starting as the age of 15, 16, 17, and become very successful, 5, 6, 7 years through the journey, because you can, cloud computing, cloud accounting, allow the 1099 economy, to thrive. So we're going after what we call this business of one. Those that are working for themselves, doesn't see themselves as a big, huge business with employees and multi-state and complexity. We want to serve them, the one that we feel that are kind of behind and need this boost of knowledge and expertise to be really successful on what they're doing.
Yeah, well, you're definitely dialed into your perfect client for sure. I love that, the business of one. So what do you think is the biggest hardship facing self-employed professionals right now?
Yeah, think about it. The self-employed, what we see is they're having a lack of visibility mainly into their financials. Real estate agents, they know how many deals they close, their pipeline. They kind of swim, in the professionalism of how to create this relationship with their customers and how to bring deals to close. But once the money received and once kind of, the cash is in the bank, what's next? Do I have enough? To pay expenses? Do I have enough to set aside money for retirement? Do I have enough to start some benefit? Do I have enough to pay my taxes? So I think it's the I don't know what I don't know and some fear about back office and about the financial operation. But I think because there are not so many tools that helping self-employed to understand the business operation from financial perspective, I think that the hardest thing is that segment is making decisions, based on whatever, but not based on data and information. So when you basically make decision based on, intuition or based on feelings, it can go either way. It can go really well because your intuition is phenomenal, or it can go really, really, really bad. And what we see is self-employed are leaving kind of a lot of money on the table because of they are making decision based off intuition and not based off data, what actually the business is making.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into my next question, because it's kind of mind-blowing in a way, and I have my own answer of what I think this problem is, but I trust that you know it much more than I do. Why do you think that self-employed, when they're running successful businesses, they know how to run a business and their business is doing well, but they find it challenging to manage their own personal taxes? You would think managing your taxes would be easier than managing your business. So why is that?
Because it's all together. Again, keep in mind that the self-employed individual need to take care of the front of the house, the customer, the invoicing, the marketing, the sales, the showing, or whatever, or the service, or whatever you need to deliver, with high energy. And then when you're going into the back office, you kind of struggle to handle it because kind of it's the weak part. And then should I invest in my weaknesses, or should I empower my strengths and just be better and just people basically leave the back office behind? I think second is the fact that, there's no real playbook. You will go to a CPA or to a consultant, you'll get, hey, you may need to be a C-Corp or S-Corp or LLC or sole prop, or do that or do this. The IRS has great tools, but the IRS doesn't have marketing department. So you need to, in a way, consume things by yourself or be dependent on people. I think, or expert. I think the biggest problem is that, self-employed doesn't have an umbrella. Think about the W-2 employee. When you go to work for Microsoft or Google or Facebook, they behave in what you call profit first. They will deduct taxes first, Social Security, Medicare, benefit, stock options, everything, and you will get your net check. And now with the net check, you kind of balance with your taxes. But when you're self-employed, when you get the gross income into your bank account, now it's all about me to manage my profit first. How do I allocate all of those resources into the different buckets? One, if I'm anxious about it, if I'm fear about it, if I have no knowledge about it, so what do? I mostly do nothing. And therefore, I think this is why self-employed are left behind, because again, they don't have this playbook or umbrella, someone to take over them and navigate and help them, to make smart decisions.
Well, and you nailed it right there, because you said it a little bit differently, but in my complimentary 8-week course on time management and business efficiency, one of the topics I talk about is embracing your strengths and hiring out your weaknesses. You need to do the things that you're great at doing and you love doing, and hire out everything else. Now, hire out doesn't mean necessarily bringing somebody directly on your team, but it's hiring out all of the experts externally that can help you with all of the things. What we're talking about here with Shahar is the taxes. You should not be doing your own taxes. You should have a CPA and somebody on your team that can navigate and understand everything that's happening in that, so you can stay focused on your expertise, which is your own business. So thank you for that. So if you could share one piece of advice with self-employed professionals, what would that be?
First, incorporate your business yesterday. Like, there's no reason for someone to be sole prop in the world of 2022. It's so 1970, maybe 80. But make a single member LLC. At least become, a single member LLC for your business. Get the limited liability protection. Get the branding. Get kind of, treat yourself like a business. But one of the areas that people lack, to understand that what we are saying sometimes that LLC is not enough, or LLC suck, because LLC has a lot of kind of branding, but people are not aware that for tax perspective, there is a way better entity to manage, and this is S-Corp. So if my one tip, for today is, if you're a self-employed, and if you're making more than $80,000 a year, net to gross, again, in some industries the same, because you're using the power of the brain to produce, cash. But if there's one thing that you need to take out of this conversation, that in 2022, if you're a business of one and you see yourself as a real self-employed, full-time, become an S-Corp. S-Corp, it's the golden structure, it's the most tax efficient entity that will help you to save 10, 15, 20, 25, $30,000 every year just by becoming an S-Corp.
Okay. So if you own your own business and you're making more than $70,000, $80,000 a year and you're a sole proprietor, you need to change that right now. Reach out to the show and I can get you connected with Shahar that can help you through that process. So Shahar, it's safe to say that you've been a successful business owner for over a decade, founding and running 2 highly regarded businesses. Are there any lessons that you've learned during that time that you can share?
I think it's all about people. At the end of the day, regardless to the system and the processes that you're building a business, putting the right people in the right place, I think this is interaction that you have with other people inside the organization just help to create this innovative environment and alleviate all of the experience of everybody. I think also that you need to always ask yourself kind of the why. And I think for me, it was kind of an aha moment, after about 9 years, it's about my why. Why am I doing it? Or why I'm doing kind of what am I doing? And as an entrepreneur, don't be shy, to make some decisions for yourself that will take you to the next level. So for me, it was, hey, I don't want to be anymore a service provider. I don't want to be, anymore, a consultant on one-on-one. I want help people kind of in scale. And this is what led me to, a very hard decision to leave a very successful business and to leave kind of a very, the CEO chair where, I'm getting into the room and I'm the most important person, out there, and then start from scratch where nobody knows, nobody knows me and the different, stakeholders. But I think it's going back to what Claire mentioned, it's just this 20 seconds of anxiety, 20 seconds of, that you're not comfortable, and then, lean in and do what you do best. So again, for me, it was building, efficient team around me. And for me, it's all about people. Putting the right people in the right place just make your life as a business owner way easy. Oh,
yeah, a great way to wrap up our show, because a dream is going to excite you. The why, though, is going to drive you. And that drive is going to keep you moving forward with the grit, needed to run a high successful business and at the same time being able to have a great quality of life. So Shahar, as we wrap up the show, anyone listening that wants to connect with you, what is the best way that they can do that?
So we're at formationscorp.com, which is Formation S-Corp, because we're all about Formation S-Corps in the world of tax and accounting. So Shahar, Shahar, and I know people have some hard time with Shahar, so it's Shahar at formationscorp.com or just formationscorp.com. Go to our website and, you'll find your way in a call to action. And I guarantee you that someone will call you back, same day.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a pleasure to interview you.
Pleasure to be here, Tina. Thank you so much for your time. You're doing great, for our community. And again, speaking about money is so important just because, again, people need to lean in and just kind of fix the relationship that people, have with money, and it's blessed. So thank you so much for having me.